This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So just a couple of confirmations. Can everyone hear me? You can probably ping yes, no in the chat window. Can everyone hear me? Perfect. Can everyone see my screen? Cool. Okay. So while others join, I just want to you know I just want to introduce myself, and then probably I'll try to take your introduction too. Hello everyone, my name is Suresh. I have been working as a Python trainer from past three and a half years, and have trained more than 500 students in Python. In addition to Python, I also teach data engineering. When I say data engineering, it includes all the data engineering technologies, be it warehouses, data modeling, and then Spark, whatnot. Okay, on one of the premium clouds, like could be AWS or Azure or GCP. Okay, so coming to my work experience, I have close to 8.5 years of experience working as a data architect in one of the reputed MNC. In these 8.5 years, I got a chance to work with multiple programming languages and some wonderful projects. Okay. I have been into training from past 5.5 years, but I started Python only 3 years ago, right? So this is a short introduction about me. Now I would leave the floor for your introduction. You don't need to talk, but this is what I'm expecting from you. Probably your name, hyphen, the current technology you're working on, and then your years of experience. Say for example, my name is Suresh, and then current technology I'm working on is maybe testing, just as an example, and then the experience 3 years. If you are a fresher, just Suresh, and then fresher. You don't need to mention any experience, guys. So this is something which I'm expecting from you. Let's try to close this activity in 2-3 minutes and jump on to the demo. Actually, this will set up some expectations.
Hi Suresh, my name is Nagarjuna. I'm a fresher.
Okay, thank you. Sai Teja, fresher. Sandeep, fresher. Hi Sai Teja, hi Sandeep.
Yeah, hi Suresh. My name is Rama. I'm a mechanical design engineer having 10 years of experience.
Hi Rama.
Yeah, hi.
Ram, fresher. Hari, GIS engineer, 8 years. Okay. Vijay, security specialist advisor, 8 years. Sachin, fresher. Hey, hi guys. Lakshmi, senior engineer testing automation, 8 years. Hi Lakshmi. Anyone else would like to introduce yourself? Satish, consultant talent ETL, 4+ experience. Wow. Great. I have worked on talent actually. Cool. Thank you guys. Thank you for your responses. Appreciate it. Now let me walk you through the agenda. Like I said, this is just a demo, guys. I want every one of you to understand that I cannot teach entire Python in 45 minutes, right? But I try to give you the overview of the course. I mean, and I would spend around 10-15 minutes for Q&A in the end. Okay, so this is the agenda for today's demo. I'm going to talk about what exactly Python is. Then we are going to talk about why Python. And then I'm going to walk you through our curriculum. Okay, and then finally I'll take Q&A. Okay, so this is what we have for today, right? And then I'm going to address all your concerns and questions, guys. You don't need to worry about that, right? So couple of requests from me. First one, when I'm in the middle of something, try not to interrupt me, guys. I mean, until and unless that's really necessary, you can definitely interrupt me, but try maximum not to interrupt me. Okay, and then second thing, use chat window as much as possible. Like I said, the session is being recorded, right? So to avoid any inconvenience in the recording, you can probably use the chat window. I would be addressing every single message of yours in the chat window. Okay, and try to be interactive as much as possible. Okay, so rather than making this a one-way traffic, I just want to make it as much interactive as possible. Okay, let's try to get something out of this 45 minutes. Okay, so let's get started, guys. So before we jump on to Python, what is a programming language? What is a programming language? According to you, you can give any silly answers, guys. I don't mind. And there is another rule in my sessions. Not a rule though. Maybe you can call it as luxury. You can use Google. Okay. The reason why I ask questions is not to test your knowledge, but to make you interactive. As simple as that. So if you want, you can Google it and post answers in your group in the chat window. So what is a programming language? Have you ever heard of this term? Yes, no, maybe. Have you ever heard of this term, guys? Programming language. What is a programming language? Okay. If you don't want to ping it to everyone, you can ping it to me as well, personally. You have that option too. Okay. So let me, okay, I got some answers. Thank you, guys. Which is understandable by machine, correct? And then programming languages are a kind of computer language with some set of rules. Perfect. Okay, so basically it's a means of interacting with your system, guys. So is computer self-intelligent? Answer is no, a big no. Your computer can't do anything by itself, but it is capable of doing anything. But it is capable of doing anything which you instruct. Which you instruct. It is capable of executing your instructions. Okay, so a programming language provide that means or bridge that gap between you and your computer, right? So to put it in a formal definition, it's nothing but a set of instructions. A program is nothing but a set of instructions given to a computer to get a task done, as simple as that. Okay, so examples of programs, what are the softwares you are using, right? They are all at the end of the day programs running in the backend, running in the backend. Okay, they might be implemented using one or the other programming languages, right? So a program is nothing but a set of instructions, and programming language is a means to provide that set of instructions to the computer, right? Say for example, maybe I'm from Hyderabad. I know a couple of languages. One is Telugu, and the second one is English. Okay, maybe if I go to Tamil Nadu and if I want to interact with someone who doesn't know either English or Telugu, we should be having one common mode of, we should be having one common language base, or we should know one common means of communication, or there is an alternative, where we will be using a mediator. Mediator could be a translator or a person who could translate my Telugu instructions in Tamil to the Tamil guy, and his Tamil instructions to me. Now let's assume I am a Telugu guy who knows Telugu and English, and there is a Tamil guy who knows only Tamil, and there is a mediator who knows Tamil and English, Now I don't have a luxury of using two different languages in order to communicate with the Tamil person, because even mediator doesn't know Telugu. So all I have to use is English. Okay, and that guy would be converting that English to Tamil, and he would be taking instructions from the Tamil guy, convert it into English, and pass on those instructions to me. Okay, so this is that whatever we have discussed so far is completely analogous, guys, when it comes to programming languages also. Okay, so basically what your computer can understand, only zeros and ones. Your computer can understand only zeros and ones, and you can understand ABC 0, 1, 2, and then special characters, whatever it could be. Okay, I would say I don't want to call it as English, but at least combination of alphabets, combination of numbers, and then combination of special characters, or whatever you see on your keyboard, as simple as that. Okay, and using a means, you will have to communicate with your computer, and programming language is the one which is providing that means, as simple as that. And then we have multiple programming languages, guys. Starting from C, we have C++, we have Java, we have Python, we have Scala. Okay, each one of them will have their own pros and cons, and their own applications. Okay, and then you might ask me, boss, then who is the mediator here, or who is the translator here? There is a component called compiler. Okay, we'll deep dive into these basics, but just try to understand at a high level. So compiler is a component which would convert the instructions given by you into a what you call given by you into the language that is understandable by the computer. Just give me a second. Okay, so the set of instructions, whatever you are giving, and then you have a computer which understands only zeros and ones. Your compiler is the one which would do this job. Okay, your compiler would do this job for you, right? And these set of instructions can be given in different programming languages. It could be C, it could be C++, it could be Java, it could be Python. Okay, and then it could be Scala. There are a lot of programming languages which I can list here, but I just want to stick to few. Okay, so Satish, it might not be necessarily binary numbers. We generally call it as machine level language, or to the format in which machine can understand. Okay, so there are technical terms as well. When it comes to Java, we call it as bytecode. Okay, so compiler is the one which does that job. right? And then do we have one compiler which can do all these jobs, or which can convert all these programming languages into computer? A big no. We have a compiler specific to a programming language. If it is C, we have C compiler. If it is C++, we have C++ compiler. Similarly, Java compiler, Python compiler, and then Scala compiler. Okay, so to summarize whatever we have discussed, a programming language is nothing but a set of instructions or the means of passing those set of instructions to your computer to get your task done. Maybe you want to add two numbers, you'll have to pass some instructions. Or maybe you want to read data from a file, you'll have to pass some instructions. Maybe you want to create a calculator application, you need to pass instructions. Okay, and you can pass those instructions using one of these programming languages, right? And then these instructions would be converted to the machine understandable instructions by a component called compiler, Okay, are we good so far? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, only 2 yes, 3 yes. Cool. So let me ask you another question, guys. I mean, when you join this course, I mean, since you are interested in this course, what is the trigger point for you to create that interest? Okay, so every one of you have joined this course just because you are interested to learn Python. So what is your trigger point to learn Python? There should be some reason, right? You didn't just join because somebody have advised you to do so. Even though they advised, they would have advised by telling you some benefit out of it, right? So what is the reason for deciding to learn Python? To get better opportunities? Perfect. What else? Want to become data scientist? Excellent answer. What else? So most of the freshers would say, I have joined Python course to end up in a good job, in a good MNC. Okay, so totally understandable, has long life. Then Java, perfect. And then Satish, it has good demand in the market, and in my current organization, they are looking into Python, PySpark. So I thought of doing it. Perfect, perfect. And you know what? I'm an SME in PySpark. We use Databricks. Automation and create scripts to use tools. Perfect. To excel in cybersecurity. Okay, developing microservices most widely used in clouds for automation. Perfect. Change my domain, it would be help to my professional life. Awesome. So to summarize all your answers, either you are looking for a domain change or you're looking for a better opportunities. Okay, so if that is the case, you are in the right place, guys. Okay, so when I say whether you join career IT or whether you join something else, that's totally fine. But your decision to learn Python, you are in the right place. Okay, the reason being, I have seen to what extent Python has grown in the last couple of years. Trust me, guys. Right from the day one, I have been working as a big data developer. So back in 2013, 2014, they used to call that as Hadoop developer. So back then we were using Java. right? And then 3-4 years we have used Java, and then there is another framework which came into picture called Spark, and then there is a sudden shift. We have to migrate all the Java code, whatever we have implemented, to Scala. But Spark was not a huge success back then. Spark was not a huge success. Few people were using it, few people were not using it. Now the guys who have implemented Spark or invented Spark has to sit and think through what they can make to push most of the users to use Spark. That is when this idea triggered in their mind. Right now we have a lot of Python developers. So what if we provide Python support to Spark, so that all the Python developers or all the data scientists who are already working on data science problems to migrate to this Spark. Okay, so that is when they have invented PySpark, guys. So PySpark is nothing but a big data framework again, which would support Python to implement Spark programs. And then, trust me, the usage of Spark increased exponentially. Okay, so all this story I have given you to tell you, that is what Python support to Python can do. Okay, so I have seen that shift, and from 2017 2018 it's been dominated by Python. Be it data science area, be it data engineering area, it's totally dominated by Python. Okay, now let me also give you a couple of things about Python. You know Maybe a couple of years back or 3 years back, when I am attending a data engineering interview, nobody was interested to test my Python skills. So people were asking me questions on, Spark or, Snowflake or AWS Redshift or Synapse or whatever it is, according to their requirement. But in modern days, I mean, in these days, the interviews are little different. So whenever you are attending a data engineering interview, they are expecting you to know Python inherently. Okay, so they will ask you questions on Python, guys. So to that extent, Python has grown. So no matter what domain you are working on, when it comes to data science or when it comes to data, you will be tested on Python for sure in your interviews. Okay, and even for freshers, most of the MNCs, be it TCS or Infosys or any other company, they have started training more than 80% of the freshers on Python, because they believe if somebody can learn Python and excel in it, they can scale them up in any other programming languages as per the demand and requirement. Okay, so that is the reason most of the freshers choose Python as their starting point or their entry to the programming career. When I say programming career, be it any domain, you will have to use a programming language one or the other way, guys. Okay, and then even the most experienced professionals who are aspiring to become a data scientist or who are aspiring to become a data engineer, even they started learning Python. Okay, now the requirements in data area has completely changed. Earlier we used to have dedicated roles for folks. Now that people calling these guys with a different names too. So there is a new term which I kept hearing these days: data full stack, expecting a guy to have data engineering exposure, data science exposure, and data analytics exposure. Okay, so this is all for experienced professionals, guys. Okay, so Python is everywhere. Let me put it in a simple term. Python is everywhere. Maybe tomorrow you want to automate something in your project, you would need Python. Maybe tomorrow you want to learn data engineering, you will have to know Python. Maybe tomorrow you want to become a data scientist, you'll have to know Python. Okay, maybe you want to implement some lightweight web applications, you should know Python. Okay, so maybe you want to work in REST API based environment, you should know Python, right? So Python is everywhere. Maybe in automation testing, still Selenium is having an upper hand. So Python I don't know to what extent Python is competitive there, but in that area, I would still rate Java. Okay. And again, same thing in web development as well. In web development as well, still I would rate Java as Java better than Python. Or we have more developers in Java than Python. Okay. I wanted to be fair, guys, just because this is Python. I don't want to tell you Python is leading in all the domains, but Python is leading in its own areas. Okay. Are you with me so far? Yes, no, maybe. And also Python is easy to use, guys. I mean, I would say Python is a developer's paradise. Like I said, I worked on Java, I have worked on Scala. Now I'm currently working on Python for past 4 years. You know, Python is a developer's paradise. Once you get hold of Python, right, you will be addicted to it. Okay, so even when we talk about Python features, the first thing you will learn is Python is easy to use. Okay, and a lot of things are internally taken care of. You don't really need to worry about whether that is created or whether this is taken care of or how it will behave in the back end. No, you don't really need to worry about it. Most of the things will be handled by Python. So that's one beauty of Python. Okay, and then let me just walk you through the course content. What I'm gonna teach you. So our course is called Comprehensive Python course. So generally, whenever you are learning any programming language, there will be few common topics, guys. So for example, loops, conditions, and then functions, then classes, objects. They're all same concepts. They're all same concepts, and they're there in almost every programming language except for procedural programming languages. Okay, so generally. Uh, the difference between these programming languages would be only in terms of syntax. How you create a class would be different when it comes to Scala and Python, and then maybe how you define a function would be different when it comes to Python and Java, right? So only syntax differs there, but the concept remains the same. Okay. Now our course is called Comprehensive Python for a reason. I will be explaining that reason once I have walked you through the course. So we'll be starting with module one, basics of Python, where I'm going to teach you all the basics. Like let me be very clear on this. It doesn't matter whether you have 20 years of experience or 30 years of experience. I'm going to treat you as a fresher, and I'm going to teach you everything right from the basics. Okay, and also the freshers who have joined, I will not be treating you as a computer graduate or a computer science graduate. Okay, I'll be treating you as a non-technical background. When I say non-technical, any other branches apart from CSE and IT. So I'm going to teach everything right from the basics, and you'll have to be patient if you already know them in the first few sessions. Okay, and I'll bring you up to the speed by the end of second week or third week of the course, guys. Okay, so first one, introduction to Python, and the second one, I'll show you how to install Python and set up the environment in your machine. So there are multiple environments which we'll be using. Okay, so we will use Colab, which is a cloud environment, Google Cloud environment, which you can use for free of cost. And then this is mostly used for developing data applications, be it data science or data engineering. Data engineering might not be directly, but there is an environment called Databricks, which is similar to Colab. And then I'm going to show you the PyCharm environment. Okay, so PyCharm is an IDE based environment. And then I'm going to show you running it as Python files in ERPC. Okay, and then there are other editors too, like Idle and then Anacondas. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you first three, but Idle and Anaconda, I'll give you some good knowledge if you want to explore. Okay, so we will be following multiple environments during our course, so you will get familiar with a lot of most used environments for developing Python applications by the end of this course. Okay, and then we'll talk about basic keywords, variables, and data types. Then we'll move on to conditional statements, loops, workflows. Okay, then we'll talk about arrays, Python functions, Python built-in functions, and then string functions. String functions is a pretty important topic, guys, because we'll be using string functions very frequently every now and then. Then I'm going to talk about Python date, calendar, and time delta, lambda functions. So lambda functions is again one of the useful concepts for developing Spark applications. Okay, then I'm going to show you Python modules, how to implement Python modules, then file IO, how to read and write to a file. Here we are going to talk about multiple types of files. Okay, how to read from .txt file, how to deal with JSON file, how to deal with Excel file, how to deal with .csv file. So I'm going to walk you through all these types of files. Okay, and then the second module, very important topic, guys, working with collections. So talking about collections, we predominantly deal with the four types of collections: list, tuple, dict, and set. There is one variant of set, what we call as frozen sets, but again it will boil down to set. So these are the four topics, these are the four collections which I'm going to walk you through in the module 2. Very important module. Trust me, if you are a fresher, most of the interview questions would be from this module 1 and module 2. Most of the interview questions. And if you are an experienced professional, most of the interview questions would be from module 2. Module 2, they might not be asking you what is a list and what is a tuple, but they will give you some uh, some coding examples which you'll have to solve, coding problems which you'll have to solve using this module 2. Okay, and then module 3 about OOPS concepts. This is another important concept, guys, object oriented programming structures. So here we will be discussing how we can implement solutions using classes and objects. So we'll talk about what is a class, what is an object, and then we'll talk about what is a constructor. We'll talk about different types of variables we have, like class variable, instance variable, class method, instance method, static method, inheritance, abstraction, all the OOPS features. Okay, so again, module 3 would be extensively covered, right? And now when we talk about module 1, module 2, module 3, these are the ones which are specific to any programming language, guys. Like I said, if you go to any other programming language as well, these topics would still remain the same. Okay, so list will be a list, be it in Java, be it in Python, be it in Scala, but the way we create a list would be different. The way we create a list would be different. We don't have the concept of list in C. Okay, so in C we will have to implement a code for implementing linked list. Okay, so fortunately we don't need to do that any of the high level programming languages. And then module 4 is about miscellaneous topics, where I'm gonna talk about exception handling in Python, pretty important. And then I'm gonna show you Python modules to send a mail. And then I'm gonna talk about Python JSON. So Python JSON would be covered in the files itself here. Okay, and then we will be discussing about Python decorators and generators and how they would be helping you out to solve any problems. And then I'm gonna talk about Python for data science. So don't expect me to teach data science here, but I'm gonna walk you through the packages that are helpful to develop data science applications. So here I'm gonna talk about NumPy. There are few packages like NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, Seaborn. I'm gonna walk you through those packages. And again, don't expect me to walk you into those topics extensively, but you will get good hang of how NumPy can be used for developing data science applications, how Pandas can be used for data science applications, So basically we'll do some exploratory analytics, and then I'm gonna show you uh, some image processing as well. Okay, just while I'm showing the applications of NumPy. And then our final module is Python JDBC. So in Python JDBC, I'm gonna show you. I understand most of the folks are freshers, and even though few folks are experienced, they might not have exposure to RDBMS tool, relational database management tool. So in module 6, I'm gonna talk about what exactly an RDBMS tool is, RDBMS tool is, and how the data is stored in RDBMS tool, what is a table, and then how we can create it, how we can insert data into it, how we can update, and how we can read data or query data from it. And then we are gonna do the same using Python code. Okay, so I'm gonna basically show you how to write Python code to connect to this RDBMS tool and do some data operations there. Okay, so in addition to that, we'll have a lot of workshops, guys. So, I believe in having a lot of fun while learning something, because if you miss that fun element, your learning would be bored. Okay, so I don't want to get there. So I have introduced a lot of workshops as well in our course. Okay, so this is a lengthy course which would take around 45 to 50 days, or 40 sessions to 45 sessions. Okay, so workshop coding simple games using basic Python. So once we are done with a few topics here, maybe till here, we are going to implement some games, guys, just to make yourself comfortable with whatever you have learned. Okay, so few games I would be picking from coding competition, I mean competitive platforms as well. And then we have couple of workshops too. So once we are done with uh, object-oriented programming structures, we will implement a use case, kind of a mini project, automated call center payment system using Python object-oriented programming structures. So here, in this workshop, we will try to simulate the real-time environment. So for example, we will get a requirement document where the requirements would be specified. Then we will sit together and then do the design part, like how we want to implement this, what should be our class, what are the methods we should implement to achieve the requirements provided by the client. So we will do the design thinking. Okay, then once the design thinking is completed, we'll come up with a template on how our solution would look like. Then we will convert that template to code. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting exercise, guys. The third one, implementation of automated call center payment system using Python object-oriented programming structures. And believe me, uh, may I know who have joined as a part of Career Ready online trainings? No, I am asking Career Ready online trainings. Is there any representative from Career Ready online trainings? Okay, let's continue. I'll take that offline. Okay, so this is going to be our third workshop, and then final workshop. We will be implementing a couple of use cases, guys. When we talk about NumPy and Pandas, like I said, I'll be giving you some introduction to image processing and how the images will be processed. Then we are going to implement a simple photo editor application. Like we will be doing some fun activities like cropping an image, and then flipping an image, rotating an image, and then we will try to add some effects to it. Okay, so we'll do that fun activity. And then when we talk about pandas, we will do some exploratory analytics on Titanic dataset. Titanic dataset is a pretty famous dataset. We will try to do some exploration there. We'll try to understand some patterns, who have survived the most, what age group, or does gender has anything to play with the survival rate. And then we will also explore if the class in which they have traveled, first class, second class, third class, has any effect on the survival rate. So we will do some kind of exploratory analysis as well there. Okay. And talking about this automated call center payment system, right? You will not be finding it anywhere on internet, guys. That is completely my IP. Okay. So this is about workshops, and the course duration would be, 45 days to 60 days. Okay, 1.5 months to 2 months. Okay. You might ask me, boss, why there is a difference of a couple of weeks? One reason could be it all depends on how we complete our module 1 and module 2. Like I said, most of you are freshers, most of you are new to programming. I might have to spend that additional time with you. I'll not be running away with saying that, we are done for today, right? So that is the reason I would always have that buffer of 10 sessions. Okay. So that would help me to complete your course on time as per the commitment, right? And the timings would be announced to you soon. Okay, so not sure if that 7 to 8 a.m. would work, but our career folks will get back to you on that. Okay, so now the floor is open for Q&A, guys. Any questions you might have, please go ahead and ping me, and we will jump on to the topics from tomorrow. We'll start our module 1. Your question could be anything, and if you don't want to ping it to everyone, you can ping it to me personally. Can you share the course content? Yes, please. Definitely, you can reach out to our career folks. They would be helping you to get the content. How long will be the session every day? It's 1 hour session, Satish. It's 1 hour session, and post the session, recording would be provided to you. It will be uploaded to Drive. Okay, and what are the artifacts you will be seeing, be it a code, be it a Python file, or be it a data set, or be it anything, even those things will be shared with you, and I'll be guiding you on multiple things too. Are there any more sessions going on in module 3 now? Unfortunately, no, Sai Teja. Could you please start it by 8 a.m. or before? It would be 8 a.m. or before only, Satish. It won't be possible after 8 a.m. Can you go in the orientation of data science while teaching? Definitely. Might not be data science, mostly data engineering and data science. Okay. So that is always there. And I'll be taking a couple of sessions as well. Because I don't want to get into what I don't know, but at least I'll be giving you all the guidance that is required for you to choose the next thing. And also, I want to provide one more point, guys. If you are a fresher, my course would be more than enough for you to get a job. Trust me, guys. You can just blindly trust me. If you are a fresher, my course would be more than enough for you to get a job. And I want to be very fair on this, right? And then for experienced professionals, my course would be helpful for you to clear or answer questions on Python. Okay, you might have to learn one or the other technology like data science or data engineering or web framework or automation related things, right? But when Python is concerned, you will be able to answer questions, but additional knowledge is required. What are the other courses for data science? I'm not the trainer, Rama. So we have another experienced trainer. He is almost having 16 years of industry experience. Okay, so he would be teaching data science, and he'll not be teaching Python there. Okay, because data science itself is vast. He'll be teaching machine learning. He'll be teaching data, deep learning, and also NLP, natural language processing. Will you also train Spark separately? Yes, Satish. Right now there are no batches going on, but we will start one very soon. It's not Spark separately. Spark will be part of the data engineering course. So for example, we have one data engineering course for Azure. So you will get to learn Spark on Databricks. So in addition to Spark, I'll be teaching you Azure Data Factory, ADLS, Azure Data Lake Store, and then uh, Synapse, Azure Synapse Analytics. Likewise, timings, I will not be able to comment on that, Nagarjuna. Probably you'll have to get back to career IT. Okay. At this point in time, like they said, tentative timings could be 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., but you'll get the confirmation from them. Like I said, after 8 a.m. would be difficult for most of the folks because a lot of people would be joining from US, and also few freshers will have colleges. Okay. So it's going to be before 8 a.m. Any other questions, guys? Like I said, first few sessions would be for free of cost. Okay, so come with a free mind and then enjoy your first few sessions and pay only if you are satisfied. And I'm sure every one of you will join the course. Anything else, guys, or are we good? Cool. The only suggestion from my side, if you are willing to join from tomorrow's session, try to be patient in the first couple of weeks, guys. Try to be patient in the first couple of weeks and give yourself some time to get into the groove. Okay, it's not that you'll become a pro right from the first session. Okay, at least try to understand whatever that's being discussed in the session, and then clarify your doubts if you have any, and then make sure you have no unconnected dots while leaving the session. Okay, will you be covering any sessions involving Spark with Python? No, because until and unless you know Spark, there is no point in covering a couple of examples on PySpark. Okay, in Python course, I'll not be touching PySpark. I'll not be touching data science. It's going to be a pure Python course, and then you can later decide on whether to join a data science course or a data engineering course or a web framework course using Python, okay, that you can do it later. But here you will get good hands-on on Python. But I'll be covering everything that is required for you to implement a PySpark application if you know Spark. Does it make sense, Lakshmi? Perfect. Same is the case with data science as well. I'll be covering all the Python that is required for you to implement data science applications, but I'll not be covering data science. Same is the case for other frameworks as well, be it web development or be it automation or whatever. Okay. But like I said, I'll be spending a couple of hours for sure on throwing some insights on how you can shape up your careers on technologies like data science and data engineering, data analytics, and also on other technologies. These days, right, even DevOps automation scripts are being written in Python, guys. Mark my word, Python is going to rule. It's already ruling, but it's gonna rule for a long time. Okay, cool then. Thank you guys once again. Thank you for giving us this opportunity and joining our demo. I hope to see you all on Monday with our first session. Okay. Once again, thank you. Thank you so much. Happy weekend. And hope you all enjoyed the demo.
Yes, Suresh.
Yeah, Rama, you have any question?
Yeah, like weekends also we have classes or only weekdays?
No, no, Rama, only demos.
Only demos. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Barely, we might have a session on one or the other weekend. Barely, maybe one weekend or 2 weekends in your entire course. That too, if required. Say, for example, I'm also right now working in. I'm a working professional. I will also get some production issues. Let's say, maybe I have cancelled a couple of sessions on a weekday. Maybe to compensate that, I might be using one weekend. Okay, either Saturday, not either, only Saturday. Okay, that too, the extreme cases I'm talking about. But usually we will not have any sessions on weekends. I'm strictly against it. Okay, cool. I'm wrapping up, guys. Thank you.